Hello, ladies. Welcome. So today we are talking about natural consequences versus punishment. How to talk to your man that you inspire him to step up for you over and over again. Yeah. Okay, so the regular way we often learned how to get something from people, yeah, so that maybe he changes the behavior or does something in the household that he promised, is to communicate it and literally complaining and maybe being mad and so on, disciplining, all those things, right? And often in school or university or workplace, those things are used too. So you talk and tell another person the mistake and so on. But it is very headspace focused at work, and that's kind of fine, right? Because sometimes we can take it from the headspace. However, when you do it in your private life, when you complain, discipline, or punish somebody in your private life, they usually won't see the point. Like they won't see that they did something wrong. They will start feeling attacked, and they will just see that you are being the mean girl. Yeah. And guess what? People want to go towards pleasure and get away from pain. So when you are the pain, they will just start to get away from you. I'm talking here about men, but also you can really use it for children or any other person in your private life. So how else can you communicate without just accepting the thing, right? So what else can you do without accepting it? Okay, so in this case, there are natural consequences. How do natural consequences look like? Yeah, let's say in your own private life, now it's just you with yourself, you don't go for grocery shopping and you don't have any food. Nobody is going to yell at you. You just don't have any food. So that's a natural consequence. And this is the most native to us. And the same thing you can use in your relationship. So let's say that your date or even your husband was late for a date, and you can choose how big of an issue this is for you. Then you either leave after an acceptable time for you, yeah, or the guy and your husband just has less time, yeah, less time to spend with you. One thing is that if you really, really own being the prize, being the pleasure of the person, this works even best, okay? So that's just one example. Let's say you're living with your husband and he wanted to take out the trash and he doesn't do it. Yeah, so you don't go disciplining him or punishing him or doing it yourself, but you just let the trash sit there, and that's a natural consequence. Lots of trash and stinky kitchen. And men, just like I already shared before, very often wait until the last 5 minutes, like to do something, the last few minutes, because they just really wired even more than women to save energy. Yeah, so you notice men don't really gossip or do unnecessarily things. They're really in resting mode because they're even more wired than we to save energy just in case they need to do something big. Okay, I'm not going to go into big explanation, but this is just how it is. And let's say that you really want to get married, and your boyfriend or the one that you're dating just is dragging his feet, and he's just telling you that he doesn't want to get married or that it's not a good idea. So the wrong way to do would be to blame him and be like, how dare you don't marry me, what's wrong with you, I mean, look at me, everybody else wants to marry me, you have to marry me now. The response you will have is firstly resistance, because the free will is broken, and second, he will just see you as the mean girl and he will not be inspired to marry you. Okay, so how do you handle this now? Yeah, so in this scenario, you either completely leave, yeah, that's a natural consequence if he says he doesn't want to marry you, or you start circular dating, and if you're engaged with somebody else, if somebody else is faster, then you leave. Okay, and if you feel like you're so attached to a person and you're holding super tight to this one person, you can't let him go, then there must be some emotional processing done. And if you feel like you can't do it by yourself, I welcome you to reach out to me, and those things can be handled, yeah, and overcome. So this emotional, really, really tight attachment, that you're free. Yeah, you're free to let him go, and most of the times he will step up. Okay, or you're okay with it and somebody else comes and fills his place. Okay, but let's go back to the topic, which is natural consequences versus punishment. Another example would be that let's say you're on a date, and a man breaks some kind of boundaries of you. Let's say he just has some red flags from your love list. Yeah. For example, for me, and this is not for everybody, it's just a personal preference. I don't like when men drink or smoke. It's just not what I like. If they drink when I'm not there, that's okay with me, but in my presence, that's not acceptable. And so not every man knows that, right? So I would just communicate it with a feeling and need statement. So when you're following me, you know that I always say you have to communicate your feeling and needs. And if he still is not able to step up, you don't say anything, you just leave. Yeah, I know we all ladies, especially when we like a guy, we want him to change, we beg and we ask and we hope that he change. But the truth is, if he's the right man for you, he will change. But you have to put the natural consequence first. You have to leave first. And then he will be in pain, missing you. And then he will change if he's the right man for you. Okay. So it's going to always work, always with the right guy. Yeah. So thanks for watching, ladies. And if you have any other further questions or communication, if you have any other questions about communication, feel free to reach out to me. And I'm going to talk to you soon.